In this short video, I want to discuss the concept of voice techniques or method techniques or argumentative techniques. They're basically all the same thing, and what they pertain to is one's choice for how he or she can make a contribution to a conversation that's happening around the topic at hand. Okay, so to put this in terms of a student doing a research paper, the student needs to learn what other people have written on his or her topic. And not only does the student need to know that just to learn about the topic, but in order to recognize which voices out there. By voices I mean, any published document, any work that has already been made public as acceptable insight or data on this topic. So whatever, documentaries, articles, books, websites, reference book entries. You need to develop a sense of which of these voices are really the ones that are trying to argue a thesis about your topic, whatever it is, in whichever way it touches your topic, and which ones have been recognized as being more important than others. Okay, now so these sources will be cited by other works. They'll be referenced, and or they'll be right close to the thing you want to say. But of course, they shouldn't be saying exactly what you want to say, because then you would be making no contribution at all. So if you picture in your mind this requirement that you have when you write academic research work, the requirement you have is to somehow fit your work into a collection of already existing work. Okay. But in order to be a legitimate member of that group, your work has to say something that already existing work doesn't say, because it can't just be a parrot work or a copy of other people's ideas. So picture yourself having a conversation with these authors. These authors know what they themselves said, and because they are wide read in the area or in the topic, they know what other people are saying about it too. So if you want to come and join their ranks and actually sit down with them, so to speak, and have a conversation with them, when it becomes your turn to talk, what are you going to say? How are you going to respond or contribute to the conversation? You can't just repeat what they're saying, because that's not how conversations work. Nor can you try to change the topic. Okay? You must somehow use what they're saying, of course, just as you would in a conversation. You're talking with a group of friends about something, you talk about that something, you use what other people say, but you have to provide some sort of insight, some sort of observation, some sort of important question, some sort of something that is uniquely you, in order for you to have legitimately entered the conversation. So the techniques that I want you to consider in the following videos, that in these videos I call argumentative techniques, are really methods or moves that people make in order to carve out a niche for themselves among a conversation that's already taking place in the published sources. And I need you to think in those terms. Don't think of this assignment as just something you need to turn into the teacher and be done, because then you tend to just write a glorified book report. Pretend that you're actually trying to write to get your work out there, and that the sources you are reading will read your source. And so, try to pretend like that and think like that, and we'll read your work. And what new will you have to add to the conversation? What contribution? And there are various ways you can do this. You can try to correct the error that exists in the conversation at hand. You can try to redefine terms or clarify terms. You can try to complicate the matter by saying, look, you're really discussing this topic, but it's a lot deeper than you think. It has more connections to other areas than you think. You can maybe put it in its proper context by saying, well, if you remember this topic in the historical context it was in, we get more insight on it. There are many ways you can do this, and I want to try to illustrate some of the more common ways with these videos. But the whole point behind this is to think of ways that will allow you to carve out a space using the material that's already out there or the material that you've learned. It's going to help you try to learn how to make an original contribution, something that truly is original, which is very important to professionally viable work. And what I mean by that is work that you do that actually has potential as a work that can live outside the classroom, that can be accepted in the professional community as genuine good work. So if it's professionally viable, it has a chance to exist that way. And it should go in your mind much farther beyond this idea of just a work assignment. So watch these videos and try to see what I mean. Now, the videos I have examples of popular writing. So it's just online articles. They're not research papers, but they're doing the same methods because these are essentially tricks of the trade that we have learned that help us enter conversations. And we can do it verbally with friends, or we can do it writing through popular venues like websites and newspaper articles and magazine articles, or academically professional venues like the professional analysis that goes into technical work. It's in all those arenas, the colloquial conversation, the popular writing, and the academic writing. These argumentative techniques find a home because that's just how we think. This is how we enter conversations. So for the examples at hand that I have to make them sort of easier to understand, I have just news articles I find online, but the same concept applies to academic work, and see if you can start picking them up. All right.